Could I ask everybody to please stand? Good afternoon. My name is Gilbert Smith, and welcome to Bradenton Kiwanis. It's great to see you, and thank all of the guests that are here. It's going to be a great program today. It's going to be a real exciting program. So if you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would join me in the singing of My Country 'Tis of Thee. If I could ask you to bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we give our sincere thanks for all you provide. Give us open minds, a clear understanding, and a steady purpose to make the most of our talents, and lead us to continue helping children and the disadvantaged and making Manatee County a better place to live. Life is too short to distract us from our true calling as Kiwanians and citizens. Be with our fellow Kiwanian Ed Mulak's family during this time of grieving and celebration, and bless our speaker today for the work he continues to do and the message he will deliver. Bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. In Christ's name, amen. Please have a seat. That's fine. All right, before we get started with some announcements, I do want to talk about Ed Mulak. And, you know, I don't know what you were doing in 1968. Some of you probably may not have been born. That's when Ed Mulak started practicing law. And then I don't know what you were doing in 1995, but that's when Ed Mulak received a heart transplant. And from that day forward, besides getting back to work and practicing law to much success, that he always had been successful as an attorney since he started practicing, and he was very prominent as a trial attorney in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s, he had a dream, and that dream was to give children that were terminally ill a better life for the rest of their life. So he spent the rest of his life trying to make children's lives better for as long as they were going to live. And so his dream was to establish the foundation of dreams. And there's many of you out here, many of you, including the sheriff, including many of the judges that are here, and many of you community leaders out here who have helped him a lot on that. And if you work with Ed during that process, you understood something about him. He was so committed and dedicated to that, he was like a steamroller. And there were many obstacles that he had starting on it, but he didn't let anything get in his way. And he was successful, of course, as you know. And that is just a super program that we've supported in the club, and we're going to continue to support in the club. And I think Judge Nicholas, we're going to be out there with the Key Leader program at their camp, and if you haven't seen it, it's wonderful. And if you ever get a chance to volunteer with the Dream Oaks or the Dream Oaks camp and the Foundation of Dreams, please do so. So thank you for that. I want to,
Judge?
Yes. June 25th at 3 o'clock. Manatee High School, Davis Building. So thank you, Mayor, for.
And then we'll go to the field and have some tributes on the video board.
Very good. Thank you for bringing that up. Ed Mulak was quite supporter of Manatee High School, and he was the voice so often of the football games. And do Neil or Janine, which one of you wants to come up on governance? Janine, are you going to do that today? Yes, sir. Okay.
No. Okay, as per our bylaws, this will be the third week of the recommendation from the Governance Committee to fill open positions and re-election of terms for the Board of Directors as well as the Foundation in tandem. We will open up nominations from the floor. So at this time, I will read the recommendations from the Governance Committee. President, Neil Unruh. President-elect, Andrew Minor. Vice President, Mike Baer. Co-treasurer, John Mullis, yes. Co-treasurer, Dave Grantham. Secretary, Rita Smith. Directors, 5 openings. Mac Aldridge, Ed Cleveland, Scott Farrington, Rich Fred, and David Shugel. Are there any nominations from the floor for any of the offices listed? Are there any nominations from the floor? Twice?
The nomination, please.
Thank you. Is there a second? All those in favor of the slate as presented, say aye. Aye. We'll move to the Bradenton Kiwanis Foundation. There are 3 directors' positions. Recommendations are Dave Bassett, David Bishop, and Dick Gross. Are there any nominations from the floor? Any nominations? Somebody move. Do I have a second to close nominations? Lemoyne. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We thank you, and we thank you to all who have agreed to serve.
All right, and Mac, are you ready to talk about our guests today?
All right, good afternoon, Bradenton Kiwanis. Are there any Kiwanians in the house? Come on. That's what I'm talking about. We so appreciate everybody who's taking time out of their busy days to come here and to join in fellowship and to listen to a fantastic presentation today. Not to put too much pressure on Mr. Bellamy, but I think it's going to be a really, really good one, and we appreciate you being here. I will try and look and see. I think it's going to be easier. Could we just have everyone who is a guest just sort of stand for a moment and be recognized? We also want to thank all of those who invited you to come here and talk to them. We're having a really good time in this club. This is our 100th anniversary, and we hope that you'll entertain the possibility of joining us at some point. So talk to the folks at your table and get excited about it and see if it's the right thing for you. Along those lines, in most of the tables, there are 2 sets of documents. One, it was suggested that each week we kind of put out what's happening over the next few weeks. So kind of look at that. You'll also see up in the left and right corners, there are QR codes. Now, if you are of an age and don't know how to use them, look to somebody to your right or left. Everybody's got a phone, and hopefully you know how to use it. You know, try to see if you can see what happens when you shoot one of those things. One of them will take you to our club website, and the other one will take you directly to where the list of newsletters are so you can catch up on everything that's happening. The other document that's on the center of your table is a listing of the members that we have right now. And if you wouldn't mind, take a look at it. Make sure that the only information we're looking for right now is making sure that the date that you joined is correct, that you have the most up-to-date email address, and your birthday. So if you can just check those items, then we're good to go. And I appreciate everybody being here today, and thank you so much. Back to you, Judge.
So last week, we talked about some history, and I mentioned that this club had produced a play in 1991. Who can remember the name of the play? Who said that? Neil.
Yeah, I haven't won yet.
Come on up. What the heck's he doing winning? Okay.
I don't know.
There you go.
I'm winning a gift card to Madison's for $300.
And that's why he's the comedian in the club. And Neil, are you ready for some club history?
Sure.
Come on back up since you're the winner.
Is this what the winner gets to do every week?
Yeah, do you want to win? All right, 1991-92, our president was Greg Bussell. All right, we'll start out with President George H.W. Bush visits Tropicana in December of 1991 to congratulate the company on the No Drugs in Workplace program. His appearance creates a lot of excitement in the area. All right, who remembers the theme, warm beer, lousy food? A few of you regulars at Fast Eddie's on Anna Maria. Started out as a small restaurant at Galati's Marina, became a large restaurant on Pine and Beta Bay with other locations in Florida. By September of 1992, the restaurant was in bankruptcy with no hope of recovering. I liked the fried mullet. Obviously in 92 I was here, right? So that was somebody else, I'm sure, like fried mullet. All right, Greg Bussell. On October 1, 1991, Daniel Greg Bussell was sworn in as the 91-92 president of the club. Greg was born in Bradenton, Florida, September 1947, to Lawrence Elmer and Mary Lou Bussell. It still cuts out.
And we know what it is.
Yeah.
It's radio wave interference in the room.
So everybody shut your phones off right now so you can hear this. It's important. His father was a member of the Manatee Kiwanis Club and a businessman who served as Manatee County Commissioner. Greg graduated from Southeast High with a $2,000 Bradenton Kiwanis scholarship. He then graduated from Florida State University with his Bachelor of Science degree in Risk Management and Insurance before enlisting in the Air Force. He served several tours in Vietnam as a pilot on a KC-135 fueling stratotanker. After 5 years, Greg received an honorable discharge as a captain. Greg returned to Bradenton and began his career in insurance with Wyman Green and Blaylock Insurance Company and then BB&T, where he worked all his career. Greg is always involved in the community with many organizations and continues to do so. Locally, 6 Mayaca City Elementary School students with severe learning disabilities go to Washington, D.C. to receive an award for creating a video, The Alligator That Got Stuck in the Mud. They won first prize in the International Student Media Festival. In 1992, this club donates $50,000 for a new tank for Snooty at the South Florida Museum. Money well spent on a lovable manatee and for the museum to help other manatees. On September 9th, at the 35th Annual Community Club Awards reception, the club was honored with the Outstanding Service Club with over 50 members. And there's Greg receiving that. Throughout the world, Kiwanis clubs were anxious to have women join as members. It's always good for a laugh. The women who joined brought new energy and ideas to these clubs. They reinvigorated the clubs. However, not here. There continued to be a large number of members who believed that it would change the character of the club, not to their liking. There was even talk of some men in the club starting a separate men's club. When was this attitude going to change? Stay tuned. It's just a year or two away. See you next week when we talk about 92 and 93. Who was the president? It gave Gilbert 2 root canals. Double ouch. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. It's you take notice that when the sheriff shows up to introduce somebody, it's important because he hadn't come to introduce me yet. But he probably will after this. I'm honored to have the sheriff here who's going to introduce our speaker today. And so, Sheriff.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. I am really honored to be here today to introduce a man that means a lot to me. It means a lot to this community. I believe that God places people in your life during times when you really need someone to help accomplish goals that you have. Ray has fought through incredible odds to be where he is today. He is a true leader. He is a mentor. I don't want to steal anything from his story, but Ray Bellamy is a great human being. And I am so honored to introduce him to all of you today. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Bellamy, come on up.
I'm not nervous. I'm looking at the incredible people here, all the great minds and the talent, and the people that are so skillful. It's scary because we have the ability here to do anything we want to do. Take a look around you. We got different makers here. People that have made a difference in our community. People that have made a difference in people's lives. Should I remind you? Can I remind you? Will you believe me if I told you that a small group of people made all the major changes in the world? Wow. You know, I grew up here, and I'm very proud of that. We lived on a farm down Cortez Road. For those of you who weren't born yet, don't worry about it, we'll catch you up. For those of you who got part of it, that's wonderful too. For those of you who was like me right in the middle, oh boy. We lived on a farm right on the Gulf of Mexico. Does anybody here remember the McClures? John McClure, Loretta McClure, Danny McClure. Well, we lived back there on that farm, and we had an amazing relationship. You know, everybody talk about, well, he went to the University of Miami, and he was the first black athlete at the University of Miami, and that's true. But what they didn't know is I had an advantage. And the advantage that I had is like I lived back there, and we was the only black family back there. So everybody that I interact with was people of different color. It didn't matter. We throw tomatoes. We ran you through the cornfield. And if you came out there, we throw dirt rocks. And if you didn't duck, uh-oh. Because you knew what was coming when you came out there. I like to just tell you why I'm so proud of Manatee County. You know, when I was coming along trying to find my way, I was educated in the Manatee County school systems, right here. I didn't know where I was going to end up. Really had plans to join the service. Okay, I was going to join the service. I was going to be a general. I was going to be top dog. I wasn't playing. I was going to go to work. I was going to do what I had to do in order to be successful. You are looking at a miracle. I'm God's miracle. I didn't do it. I didn't do it alone. I had help. I had a lot of great people step forward and help me. The McClures is just part of it. The Williams, the Smiths, the Pratts, the Qualibons. You know, when I got ready to go to the University of Miami, I ain't have no clothes. I ain't have no money. Mr. Qualibon, for those of you who are old heads, you know, he ran Bell Lindsay. And he ran Bell Lindsay, and he said to me, he said, call the house. My brother, Sylvester, Judge Smith referred to him early on, he used to cut chickens for Mr. Qualibon's brother. So that's how I got to know the Qualibons. And he told me to come to Bell Lindsay and get money. And I went, get money? He said, yeah, get clothes. That's money. I said, well, I don't have no money. He said, I know you ain't got no money. He said, but who said anything about money? I went, I was afraid. He took the time out. He picked up some underwear and he threw it in the basket. He said, everybody need them. He broke the ice. And I was able to get clothes. I ain't have no money. Manatee County made me possible. Don't get me wrong. I worked, but I had a lot of great help. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank all of you in this community. I got lucky, and I met a lot of the great people in the process of doing it. The other thing I want to say is that, you know, it's not as difficult as you might think it is to do the right thing. I just want you to think about that for a minute. You know, when I made the decision to go where I went to school at, it was a choice that had so many different little angles. My mother, she's here today, and she's 99 years old. When I first started my journey, because life is a journey, we all know that. I started my journey, it was nobody on the bus but my mom and my oldest sister. Because where I came from, it was impossible to leave because we was migrant workers. And we travel extensively. As I went about doing what I do, I learned some things. I learned lots of things. And today, I'm going to share some of those things with you. And I hope and pray every day that you can see what I see. I see a special group. I see a a special community. I see a community that has done great things. I don't see a community that's struggling and fighting and doing all the stuff that we see all around us. Can you believe that we have an opportunity to do greatness? Not just for Manatee County, not better than Sarasota County, but an example on a national level. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I don't think little, I think big. We can do it, and we can make a difference in our country and have others talk about what we do. All we got to do is embrace each other. All we got to do is understand that the greatest resources we have is each other. I want you to do something for me. And I thought about it, and I really want you to take a walk with me. And we're going to take a walk. And it's an imaginary walk, and it's in your mind. Okay? And we're going to walk. I wanted to walk down Manatee Avenue, but it's too many distractions, I know, so we're not going to go down. But we're going to take a walk, okay? And I want you to stay with me for a minute. So we're taking this walk, okay? And we're on a farm road, and we're walking down this farm road, and we're on the right side of the road, and everything that we see is to our right, okay? And we walk down there, and here come a little puppy dog, and we see him, okay? And then later on, there comes somebody chasing after the little puppy dog, and we see them, okay? And then over there's a house, and we see the house. And now, as children, we see it. Lights on, candles out front, we see that house. We're going on down the road, we see a family, and they're walking, and they're talking, and they're having a very cordial exchange. And we turn around. And now, everything that was on our right is now on our left. And we're on our way back. And guess what happened? We saw that same house, and oh my gracious, we didn't realize it had a pool in the backyard. You know why? Because you couldn't see it from where you were. But it does not mean it wasn't there. All right. So where are we going? Let's go. Let's go to a hotel. And then this is the last walk we're going to make together. And let's say that you're in room 243. Okay? I was in room 243 when I had my accident at Doctor's Hospital. That's it, at Doctor's Hospital. Okay, and then we got another group that's in room 501. And we got another group that's in room 621. And we got another group that's in the penthouse. Okay? And we're looking out. What do you see? Do you see the same thing from room 243 that you'll see from 501? Will you see the same thing looking out 601 or from the penthouse that you see in 243? I don't think so. This is where we can understand and better put together what's important in our lives and to others. Because you don't see it doesn't mean it ain't real. Because you can't see that view doesn't mean it's not there. Now, here's the amazing thing. Circumstances. You know, I must tell you that, like, being the first black to do what I did ain't all it's cracked up to be. Okay? And we're going to put that right there because that's real. Because, like, can you imagine this? And I'm being as real with you today as I can be because you all are mine. You're home. You are home. And I want to give it to you. I want you to understand and hear what I'm saying today. So all of a sudden, I'm the first black athlete at the University of Miami. And I'm the first black athlete. Well, I got black people that don't like that. I got black people that don't like that at all. I got whites that don't like it. Ain't about color people. It's about circumstances. One more time. It ain't got nothing with a capital N to do with color. It got everything to do with circumstances. Where am I? Where am I located at? And how am I going to deal with where I'm at? You know, Benjamin Franklin had some things to say. And he said, all men are created equally. Everybody think Abe Lincoln said that. Abe Lincoln repeated that. Right? Now, what's going on in our communities and in our lives and dig deep in our hearts that we can't work it out and fix it with dialogue? Why? Why can't we step forward and be an example for people all over the world? See, you gotta believe that you can make a difference. When I went to University of Miami, I'll share this with you. My first day on campus, I was walking across campus on my way to the football practice field. I'm a freshman and I don't know where I'm going. And I'm lost. And I'm kind of stumbling around. Police car came up. He said, "What are you doing on campus?" And I looked at him. I didn't say a word. And he says, "Do you have ID?" I just got there. I have no ID. Well, I ain't tell him that. I kept my mouth shut. And he was going on saying things to me, and I could feel it, that it was going in the wrong direction. So I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, "Do you know where the field house is?" He said, "Yeah." Well, I shocked him. I jumped in his car. And he was like, "Yeah." I jumped in the car. I jumped in the car. So if he wanted to take me to the field house, he can take me. If he want to take me to jail, he can take me there too. Okay, he got choices. I gave him choices, right? So I got in the car. So he took, now, I remind you now, I never told him who I was or what I was doing on campus. I got in the car. He drove me to the field house, and I got out, and I went walking into the field house. I told him thanks, but I still didn't tell him who I was. The next day, on the front page of the Miami Herald, it's a big picture of Ray Bellamy, the first black athlete at the University of Miami. Your attitude determines your altitude. Okay? I could have made a big deal out of that. I could have created problems for myself, but I didn't. We know, no one have to tell you, all these bright minds we got in here, we know that we can figure it out. And you don't need my help. It's nice to have what they call it, a cheat sheet. You know what I mean? You got somebody that tell you a little bit of stuff so that it give you a better feel for where you're at. the Kiwanis Club. Very big. Made some serious statements. Miss Neal was up here. Females, 1987. Okay, that's when it was. Hello, you heard it first right here. Okay, now, you made a commitment back in 1914. That's when it started. Okay. Happy birthday, you're gonna be 100 years old. Wonderful. But the thing that I like about the Kiwanis most is the commitment that it made to our young people. Here we go. Think about this one. Kiwanis did it, not me. K, adolescents, teenagers, college, young adults. Okay. Well, I want to tell you something. We need them, and we need them to be active, and we need them to be involved in what we do. We do. You know why? Because they're our future. And if we don't help them, we don't have a future. How about that? We're letting people from all over the world outwork us. We better be careful with that. I'm going to say that again. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you just said that, and you're thinking that. We're letting people from all over the world outwork us. We don't get angry. We get busy. You ever notice that the same people show up the same places, doing the same job, being out front? You know, Sheriff Wells is here today. He's here. You know, I check myself before I start checking anyone else. So I put on programs all over every community I live in, and I never did anything for this community. And I was like, hey, there's something wrong with this picture here. This ain't right. And so I decided I got to do for Manatee County because Manatee County did for me. And I made the decision that I was going to start doing things in this community even though I didn't live here. And I want to tell you, I had no idea that I would be living back in Manatee County. You remember when I first opened my mouth and I told you, I said, I'm a miracle? Well, I am. How many people you know I left here in 1967? I've been gone 55 years. I have relatives of mine that was born and died and I never met them. I've been going away from here a lifetime. And I've been able to return. I want to say a sound mind, but I'll say somewhat of a sound mind. Okay? That's incredible. And I got to come home and I got to be here and I get to speak to this intellect group here. So let's go back to the young people. Well, I got one of my students here. I don't just talk the game. I play the game. I do it. You know what I did? I took 3 female students. As a matter of fact, one of my students is here, and Amber right there. She's one of my students. I got in the car with 3 females and I brought them from Tallahassee to the University of Miami. But I called Miss Ronnie House and I said, Amber want to go with me to Miami. If you don't tell me she can go, she ain't going. She told me I can go. I help people. That's why I like your club, because you help people and you help young people and you are committed to young people. So Sheriff Wells and I joined hands and we started doing the Thanksgiving drive. Before that, I did the Thanksgiving drive 3 years, and then I went into his office and I said, Sheriff Wells, I got an idea. And he actually listened to me and jumped on board, and we've been rolling ever since. Specifically, what is it that I want from you? That's why I started doing it, because it was the right thing to do. Key clubs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's mobilize them. Let's get them involved. What I want from you is I want you to make a commitment and say that we're going to join hands and we're going to get involved, and we will get the key clubs and we will get the teens and we will get the Ks, and we're going to get them out there. You know, Amber was nervous about talking in front of people, okay? Well, I target them kind. If you don't want to do it, then I'm going to get you. You're the one that's going to do it. I did my program in Tallahassee. You're not going to believe this story, and this is why you all are so important with what y'all do with young people. I was doing my Thanksgiving drive in Tallahassee, and I did it at Florida State campus. I was doing it there. And it was a young lady there, and she was like filming. As a matter of fact, I got it on my computer here. The phone ain't nothing but a computer, so I got it on there. And I asked her, I said, well, where are you from? She said, Palmetto. And I went, get out. I said, no, I'm from Palmetto. She said, I know Sheriff Wells, I know Mel Bryant. She just started naming people that she knew, and I went, wow, you are from Palmetto. What have you done today? What will you do tomorrow to make a difference in our community? I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about me. Can we get some others? Can we get some more people to hold hands with us and help us? Can we get this going so that we can let people on a national level? See, we can do something that they've never done before if we want to, only if we want to. You know, I picked up a poem along the way, and I say it quite often, and I just want to say it for you. And then I'm going to tell you about a young lady named Mindy Rose. I call her my Rose Garden. And it's all about in line with doing what you committed to doing as it relates to where we are and bettering our community. The poem goes like this, and this is for me to all of you. Do you love me, do you not? You told me once, but I forgot. How did you know that God above, he created you for me to love? He picked you out from all the rest because he knew I loved you best. I had a heart. It once was true. And now it's gone from me to you. Take care of it as I have done. For you have two, and I have none. If I should get to heaven, and you're not there, I'm going to carve your name in the golden stairs. So all the angels will know and see what a darling dear you were to me. And, Judge Nicholas, if you're not there by Judgment Day, I know you've gone the other way. I give the angels back their wings, their golden harp and 7 strings. And just to prove my love is true, I'll come to hell, darling, just to be with you. You can do it. We can accomplish so much together as a group than we can individually. Couple of things that I did that's important as it relates to our young people. I want you to remember that I ask you to please get others involved. And whatever it is that we have to do, I'm not just standing up here running my mouth, I'll work. Sheriff Wells will tell you that when he comes, a lot of times, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, I've already been out there and I've put some things in place. I lead by example. How do you lead? You want to show that you care? You want to make a difference in your community? Don't talk it, live it. Every day, wake up. Judge Smith, when you go and you sit on that bench and someone come up there and they've done something wrong, compassion, but still get the job done. You can do it with compassion. You can do it with understanding. Ray Bellamy was born February 25th, 1949. And when Ray Bellamy leaves, what did he do in that dash? What have you done in your dash? You want to alienate people? Do you want to embrace people? I have a vision that we can do this and we can be special. I like being special. I like being exceptional. All my life, I spent it, and you know what I spent it doing? Turning no's into yeses. One more time. You know what I do? I turn no's into yeses. And you know what? Every time you say no to someone, if they stop that, can you imagine all the great ideas and all the great skills and all the great inventions that would not have been made had they not tried to change it? When the Wright brothers said they were going to fly an airplane, people said, "You done lost your mind." Say, look, you, birds fly, okay? Men don't fly. Today, flying is a multi-billion-dollar industry. How about that? But somebody told him he couldn't do it, didn't he? And he said, hey, you know, we can do this. We can be the best of the best and nothing less. And you know how we can do it? One step at a time. Ain't no quick fixes. Let's just commit and let's make a step forward every day to trying to be the best that we can be. I've gotten it from everywhere. I've gotten it from both sides. I've had people tell me, you know what? You talk like a white boy. Yeah. And I've had them say, hey, you know, when I went to University of Miami, nigga go home. Ain't no niggas wanted here. I lived there. Do I hate everybody because of that? Really now? Do I think that everybody that's white and wear a tie are after me and trying to hurt me? That's not real. There was a man that once lived, and his name was Dr. Henry King Stanford, and he was president of the University of Miami. And when I was a freshman, I didn't know him. And we was on the football practice field one day, and he came by. And I didn't know who he was. And the man was dressed, and he was sharp now. And he had a fresh rose on his lapel, right? And I turned and I looked at him and I said, who's that cool cat? Well, he found out that I said that, and he called me to his office. And I went over to his office, and he says, Mr. Bellamy, he said, come in my office, come on in. And I went in there. And I was nervous. Now, I was nervous, you know, I didn't know. And he said to me, he said, Mr. Bellamy, I'm that cool cat. So somebody told him that I said that. We became friends. Color didn't matter. He told me one day, the Board of Trustees wanted to know why did he like me so much. And he said, you had to think about it for a minute. And he couldn't come up with anything, and he finally said, there are some people you like better than you do others. And that's true. Okay. If we can get you, we need you. We can put on the biggest and the best Thanksgiving drive that we ever put on because we can fill that place with our kids, with our children. When I do my programs, I'm never out front. As a matter of fact, I wrote Sheriff Wells in the MC in the program. I go on the false pretense like I'm gonna do it, but I hand him the mic. And I do it. Hey, he probably don't figure it out now, but I do it every year. Okay. And when I'm in Tallahassee, I have my students do the welcome. She did it. Others, I never do it. I only say something at the end because I want to see what the end product is. That's what I'm caring. I'm the bottom line. Sharon, please, Key Club, adolescent, teenagers, Ks. Let's figure out a way that we can do it. I'm willing to meet and discuss and talk with any of you at any time, anywhere, because I live here now, about this. All right. If you got a pen right now, you can write. I'm going to give you my name and my phone number, and I'm going to tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to get out your hair. Okay. My name is Ray Bellamy. R-A-Y. Bellamy. B-E-L-L-A-M-Y. I don't want you to get it wrong, so I'm going to give it to you. I can be reached a lot of different ways. The first way I can be reached is through Sheriff Wells. I'm on his most wanted list. Okay, all right. Hey, but I don't stand behind the bars. All right, 850-296-4511. Again, 850-296-4511. All right, now, if you think I'm crazy, good. You know, because you have to be a little crazy in this world. You know what I mean, in order to make it. So that's good. All right, now, I have an email address. Okay, you know, and it's rbell, R-B-E-L-L, 02-1949 at gmail.com. Okay. Now, I hope we understand what I would like to see us do. And we'll do one little step at a time, nothing big, but it's something that we can accomplish. You think about it. You know, who do you know that will give us a turkey? Because a turkey adds up to be a lot of turkeys. Now, who do you know will help us get boxes, get stovetop stuffing? This is a community project. Sheriff Wells bailed me out. I'm trying to bail you out, Sheriff Wells. Sheriff Wells step up front and help me with the turkeys. He get the turkeys. Before Sheriff Wells started getting the turkeys, I got the turkeys. So he bailed me out. So we need help. But more important than the help, because we can figure that out, we need you and we need the kids. And you know what? We're going to get them because I believe in you. We'll get them. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to remind you, I'm not going away. I got to tell you, I taught everywhere I've been, I've got involved in the community. And when I was down, I taught down in the Florida Keys, okay? And I taught at Key Largo Middle School, if you ever been down there. You can't miss it, you go down the road, go down US 1, it's right there. I taught there. And I got to tell you, like I used to make my students stand in front of me and recite a poem from memory. Just like I do, they got to do that. And they were so nervous, they could not believe it. Kind of like Amber, you know, very, very nervous, okay? But I said, oh, you got to do it. So I had a young lady in my class, and this is to show you, don't ever underestimate the mind of a child. Don't do that. Don't tell them what they can and cannot do. Let them figure it out. Guide them, keep them safe, but don't put no limitation on them. That's a big mistake. It was girls, her name was Mindy Rose, and Mindy Rose was a young white female, and she was smart, but she didn't come to school. Okay, this is an unbelievable story. So Mindy Rose, I called her my rose garden, okay? I was rooting for her. I wanted to see her do well. I was like all in the Mindy boy, and everybody in the class knew it. I taught a self-contained class, right? Meaning I taught them math, English, history. I taught them everything. We went on field trips because these was kids that was at-risk kids, okay? And they could potentially drop out of school. So I had to be excited in the classroom. And that I was. I was so excited that my principal came down and she was standing in the door watching me do my thing, you know. So Mindy Rose missed a lot of school, and I was really worried about her. So she hadn't been to school, but it was time to do the poems. And I get my roll book, and I go to the back of the class, and I sit down, and I call on them to go up front and recite a poem from memory. That's just one of the things I did, but I did a lot of stuff, but I got to tell you about this one. So anyway, Mindy raised her hand. She raised her hand, and I was like, all right, my girl, she's going to do it. She said, Miss Bellamy, she says, I'll go first. And everybody was like, oh my God, you know, Mindy going first? She's like, yeah, you know, I'll go first. So I say, all right, Mindy, you go first. And this is what she said. She stood before the class and she looked them dead in the eye. I had a little black kid in my class named Willie Smith. And he really wasn't the smartest one in the class. A white female named Natalie was the smartest one in the class, but Natalie was lazy. So Willie outworked her. And Natalie had the greatest skill and was very bright, but she didn't do it. She was into discovering males. And Willie was working. But Mindy Rose superseded all of them. She stood before the class and she said this. She said, small as a peanut, big as a giant. We all the same when you turn out the light. Rich as a soul, poor as a mite. We are all the same when you turn out the light. Red, yellow, orange, green, black or white. We all the same when you turn out the light. So, in order to make things right, the Lord should reach out and turn out the light. And I went, oh, Mindy, ooh, everybody got to learn that one. And the class got a great ending. You, I thank you, and I appreciate you. And I want you to know that it's time. I'm willing to do anything I can to help you. Help me, help you. Thank you very much.
Don't leave yet. Well, hey, we sure enjoyed that. We are sure fortunate to have you here. In closing, I got to bring this down, ways. In closing, let me just say this, that Ray and I got to know each other about 15 years ago. And I discovered that he has actually been an adopted member of my family for about 50 years from Miami to the Chesterfield Smith family. So he hadn't gotten a book. I'm going to give you this book about my uncle and about somebody that spent so much time with. And as a tradition of Bradenton Kiwanis, I want to present you with this ruler to measure your future success. We hope to have Ray back, sitting out there with you, listening to other speakers, and we want to get involved in some projects that he's doing because he's home now and he's staying here. So thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Got everything? Okay, so next week we're going to have another exciting speaker. Representative Will Robinson will be here. Well, that was a good announcement. Mac, are you running? Are you ready to play?
Are you done?
I won't be if you're ready to play it. You ready?
Well, no, I just turned everything off. I figured we weren't doing it.
Okay. Keep talking? Okay, so next week, we've got another exciting speaker. Representative Will Robinson's going to be here, and he's going to talk about being in the House of Representatives, but he's also going to talk about swimming from Alcatraz to San Francisco docks in the Ironman competition. So it should be a great program. It's the first time he's ever been asked to present this, and I know he's looking forward to it. Now, we have about a few minutes, it's probably 5 or 6 minutes, 6 minutes to be exact, like Max says, of some film about Ray Bellamy, and I hope that you can stay 6 more minutes to watch this. Mac, you ready?
I hope so, as long as you
Okay.
What are your feelings after being on the Miami campus for about 3 days?
Well, I just love it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. All the guys treat me real nice. I mean, I'm kind of happy that I made the decision to come to the university. Even though I am the first Negro, I have no discrimination at all. All the guys, they treat me real nice.
Is it the way you thought it was going to be, or is it a little better?
Well, it's much better.
Uh-huh.
Well, I figured that I would have some of the guys reluctance about me or maybe discriminating against me, but I haven't had it yet, so I just love it.
Yeah, and you like the football?
Yes, that's my game.
In the Deep South of the 1950s and 60s, there were 2 enduring traditions: the excitement and spectacle of college football and the grim reality of racial discrimination. In Southern college football, all major schools had one thing in common. Every football player, coach, and cheerleader was white. One college president and one athlete in the Deep South broke through this barrier and compromised the region's racist beliefs. The president, Dr. Henry King Stanford. The athlete who made history, Ray Bellamy.
I could sit here right now and talk about whites
and talk about negative things and how people did this and how people did that. But that's not going to change anything. You want to make a change, do the right thing.
I think I told him one time, I said, you can't save the whole world. Nobody can. You can't save the world, but you can tell them how you come through.
And that's why I say the key to eradicating racism is build relationships with people.
And we need to respect each other and love each other in spite of each other. It don't mean you have to love my ways, but I'm human like you are. We're human like you are. We hurt like you hurt.
But now to make the younger people see this, it's going to be hard. But I pray. But God, grace is sufficient. He can do anything but fail.
It all started with an unlikely relationship between Dr. Henry King Stanford and Ray Bellamy.
I learned so much from Dr. Stanford. Being raised in the South, Dr. Stanford, I always ask him this, I've asked him this before. How is it that he feels the way, anytime it comes to blacks, and you got the benefit of the doubt, Dr. Stanford always give them the benefit?
I think it was just a realization that we were wrong. As I get older and older, I began to see it. One of the things that brought me along was studying in Nazi Germany when I was 20 years old. Some of the white Americans from the North thought it was terrible the way, and I did too, the way the Nazis were treating the Jews. I remember how we were treating blacks in the South at the same time.
He couldn't get too angry about what was happening in Germany without getting angry with his fellow Southerners.
Fellow Americans.
So when Dr. Henry King Stanford became president of the University of Miami in 1962, he knew a change would take a masterful play. It started on the football field.
At that time, Florida State didn't have a black. Florida didn't have a black.
The big Southern schools may not have had blacks on the football fields, but Bellamy grew up in a different kind of field, picking tomatoes.
When I was growing up, people thought I was crazy because I had vision that they just didn't have. I believed things that they just didn't believe. I fought for things that they just didn't feel they would fight for or was worth fighting for.
Tonight, to help us celebrate, we have the legends of Hurricanes football.
Ray Bellamy, star wide receiver from 68 to 69. He was the first African-American student athlete at the University of Miami. Bellamy was also the university's first African-American student body president. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Bellamy.
This is the one that I always think of when I think of you. Small as a peanut, big as a giant. We all the same when you turn out the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite. We all the same when you turn out the light. Red, yellow, orange, green, black or white. We all the same when you turn out the light. So in order to make things right, the Lord should reach out and turn out the light.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.
Thank you.